Hello everyone, welcome back to Heteronormativity, our tragic love story. I am your host, Luida Batista. I am 16 years old and I came here today to talk about compulsory heterosexuality and transnegativity. We have covered an in-depth video about heteronormativity, the effects that heteronormativity has had on coming out. We've talked about the mental health and conversion therapy and religious trauma. So today, like I said, we are going to be talking about compulsory heterosexuality, and we are also going to be talking about transnegativity. So compulsory heterosexuality was a term coined by Adrienne Rich in 1980. It means that heterosexuality was forced mostly upon women so that we could uphold the patriarchy and keep men and women, the heterosexual relationship, alive. Okay, so this being said, compulsory heterosexuality erases the existence of sapphic relationships, which is like lesbian, non-men loving people. So yeah, so that being said, let's talk about it. So compulsory heterosexuality was brought up so that women could fulfill men, women could stay with women could stay with men. And that being said, it also meant that the form that can be adapted, shaped into, so that women can continue playing part of the patriarchy. This invalidates sapphic relationships because when you grow up from a young age, most women or just people in general have been told that they should be with the person that is opposite of your gender. But for women, it's more evident as they have to be the caregiver, and gender roles also plays part into this. Relationships with women are usually invalidated, objectified, or sexualized. It's a lot harder for queer women or queer people to come to their terms because heterosexuality has a big prominence in their life. Compulsory heterosexuality is actually like embedded into us, right? And so because we've been taught this for a long time, it actually takes a long time for people to actually recognize that they aren't actually straight, because this is just something that they've adapted to, like unconsciously, like they've already stopped letting themselves explore their sexual preference. So I'm going to show you guys a little bit of the compulsory heterosexuality master dog that is more aimed towards women trying to figure out their sexuality. And so I'm just gonna give like one or two just so you guys can get an understanding of what it is. Okay, so for their attraction to men, deciding which guys to be attracted to, not to date but to be attracted to, and having a mental list of attractive criteria that are usually impossible for men to get. And then another one would be, you do not like the reality of men, only the idea of being with a man. So this being, it's the idea of being with a man, is the idea of growing up, having children, following your religious faith, or yeah, it's all about that. But you don't actually like men, you've just been taught to like men, so by default you try and choose a man that will be perfect for you, or the man that will fit for you, when in reality it's not gonna happen. You know, it almost makes it seem like relationships with men are unavoidable, or being in a heterosexual relationship is unavoidable, and usually this is really hard to get out of. Your whole life you grew up straight, you didn't think of anything else, like you've never considered any other feelings of attraction, but now that you're growing up, you're starting to realize like, oh, this isn't how love is, or this isn't how I feel it's supposed to go. So because I'm talking mostly about women, because this is mostly affecting women because of gender roles obviously in heterosexual relationships, so I want to talk about men. Although this is compulsory heterosexuality is more aimed at women, it also affects men, because obviously as a man you've always been taught to like be with women, you have to be with them. And so when you've already internalized that, you don't want to be called gay, you don't want to be put on that social status. It also means that compulsory heterosexuality is present because not actually straight, because your unconscious mind is telling you that you are straight, you can't do this, you can't do that. But the way that you think of women, the way that you come upon women, it usually just doesn't end up like that, and it obviously makes it a lot harder for queer relationships to happen, and just the experience of identifying your queerness because of how prominent heterosexuality is in our lives. Compulsory heterosexuality is connected to heteronormativity because, again, they're trying to uphold heteronormative ideology, since you can't figure out just yourself that, oh no, I actually like women, because you first have to go through identifying you don't like your opposite gender so that you can get to where you identify as. So now let's talk about transnegativity. Transnegativity is the negative uphold of cisgenderness upon people. So basically, the gender binary, you can only be one of the gender binary, because if you're not, you're done. You're done. Which is just not the case, obviously, because transnegativity upholds the ideology that if you are not happy with the gender that you were assigned with at birth, then you're not normal, you're not natural, you're not likable, you're unwanted. So this being, if you are a trans person, it's 100 times harder to even combat feeling like yourself, because trans people have been shamed, they have been called slurs, they have been called, oh no, you're not natural. And I'm specifically just talking about the gender binary. So this being said, it makes it even harder in some of these queer relationships for them to be present, because their partner might not even identify them for what they are, but will identify them for their genitals. Because, for example, as a kid, I was taught that I was supposed to be fearing of trans people, and that if you were trans, it was a horrible thing. If a person was to be trans in those type of environments, it makes it a whole lot harder, because you're like, no, this is not me, like I'm just unhappy, I'm this, I'm that, when no, in reality you are just trans. It's okay. It's been scientifically proven that trans people are valid. It's extremely important that we all get educated. So this being said, heteronormativity connects to transnegativity, because if you're not sticking to the gender binary that you were given with at birth, you're not normal, you're not welcome, you're unwanted, like I said. So thus being said, two ideas are opposing. A big thank you to everyone for watching, and I'm so glad that you guys stayed to the end. Underneath this video, for anybody that is questioning their sexuality, I will be putting the Lesbian Master doc, or just the Sapphic Master doc, underneath this video, so that you guys can get resources about this and identify yourselves as you please. So yeah. And also, I'd like to say to all the trans people out there that you are valid, you are normal as anyone else, and that you deserve to be loved just like everyone else, and there's nothing wrong with you. And I'll also be linking some trans resources. And other than that, thank you so much. Like always, don't forget to like, comment, and follow, and share with a friend. Thank you.